Good evening and welcome to this edition of Newsnight. My name is Charles Odongtho, and with me in the studio is Andrew Mwenda. He's the CEO of the Independent magazine and old man of the clan. Andrew, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much, Charles, and also for recognizing my grand age of 101.
No, we have not recognized the age because it doesn't exist. We only recognize, you said, old man of the clan is part of your name, and you said we shouldn't change it. You likened it to Odongtho.
Yes.
Over which I have no right.
Okay, good,
now,
thank you.
What's good in business? NSSF is back in the news. IGG ordering that the former MD, Richard Byarugaba, should be reprimanded together with the former corporation secretary. What's happening?
I think that, you know, when Irene Mliagonja, whom I used to know very well when I was at KFM hosting the show, she used to be my guest. When she was appointed IGG, I thought that for the first time we would get somebody with a balanced mind who would be able to give that institution strategic direction. Because that institution has a lot of power and operates in a society that is still poor with the very weak skills, and therefore systems are not working very well. But by this report has demonstrated to me the danger of a poor country like Uganda having an institution like the IGG. In fact, she has reinforced my view previously that that institution should be disbanded. Why should the IGG be disbanded?
Because, and don't take it personal, because
yes, why I'm not talking about her, I'm talking about the institution. Yes. Please don't say personal, because I'm simply saying that now she has convinced me that the problem is not the individual leaders, but the institution should be disbanded. Karl Popper, who is one of the philosophers I admire the most, said that human society is inherently imperfect. And a perfect society is incapable or impossible to create. So we have to content ourselves with an imperfect society which is capable of infinite improvement. Over the last 20 years, every MD and chairman of the board who have joined NSSF have left against recriminations. And mostly through Lozira. Yes, they have gone to court, finally they have been jailed. Beginning with Katembwe, followed by Barongo, then Leonard Mpuma. After Leonard Mpuma came Jamwa. Now this is the fifth. If you are a person who has studied NSSF, you begin to realize that the problems of that institution are not internal to it. That is a secondary, because every manager anywhere in the world, including Maria Gonja, the IGG, will make mistakes. True. So for me, if I was in her... As long as they are human. Yes. If I was in her shoes, I'm investigating, I have a history of an institution that has suffered a great deal of atrophy, so that even the best skilled Ugandan will think 10 times before they apply for a job at NSSF. Let me tell you, Charles, if anybody applies for a job as MD at NSSF, I'll consider them dangerous. Why? The institution has such high mortality rate and jail and things like that. It's not an institution anybody with a reputation to protect will go to. Two, the problems of NSSF are not necessarily internal to the organization. They are external to its politics. And as a result of these prosecutions and recommendations and investigations, NSSF can no longer attract good managers, and two, the institution has suffered atrophy. It is incapable of investing people's money. NSSF collects long-term funds, which must be invested long-term in order to be able to meet long-term obligations it has. Right now they have 4 trillion. Of that 4 trillion, only the highest liquidity organization in the country. Only 800 billion out of 4 trillion, which is less than 15%. It's exactly 20%. So 20% is in equity in long-term assets. The rest is in short-term treasury bills and fixed deposit accounts. What does that mean? It means that while they have your money for 30 years, they are not investing in anything that can benefit this country or you over 30 years. They only invest in things that can take 6 months to 2 years. But Byarugaba did not invest in anything tangible. So why would he have trouble then? Yes, but that is why everyone else has been recommended for prosecution. Was he too careful, too cautious? Just a moment. That's why everybody, previous managers, have gone to jail and been criminally prosecuted. This IGG could not find anything on Byarugaba and David Nambali. So what did she do? She said he must be reprimanded politically by the minister. Reprimanded, what does that mean? Because there are some mistakes. Yes. You see, if the IGG and her office had strategic direction of what should be done to that organization to defend its institutional integrity, they would have said, well, this is the first time we have had managers who have not committed mistakes of a criminal nature. And to allow this institution to develop some level of competence, we can call him privately and tell him you made mistake A, B, C, D, F, G, and perhaps write a private letter of reprimand. Which
was done, I think, because Byarugaba says he was invited and talked to, but that his complaint, what I get, is that he did not have his issues brought out in the report. They are not caught up. They are not caught in the report.
I think that it is just a basic principle of fairness. If you're investigating somebody, that you have to talk to them. So there is nothing they did not do him any favor anyway.
It is actually a principle of constitution, yes. You know, the right to a fair hearing.
So they must have talked to him, and whatever he told them, they did not even listen, because all the complaints they have raised, if we had time, I would have explained to you how all of them are wrong. It means whoever went to talk to him, they did not. And let me tell you this. My own suspicion is this. IGG people went to him and said, give us money and we clear you. And I would suspect he refused, and that's why they wrote that report. If you ever see an IGG report that condemns somebody, it's because they not pay for it.
Is that true? Is it that serious now, that the IGG people are up for sale? That
you remember our discussion of last night, that the corruption of Uganda begins at the home up to the workplace. Please don't think that the people who work in the IGG's office are honest people. They are Ugandans and public officials of Uganda, and they are just as corrupt as the guy they're investigating. So for me, if the parliamentary committee produces a report condemning somebody, or the parliament or the IGG, it means that that person did not bribe them, and that means that that person is honest. So whenever there is a commission of inquiry condemning somebody, then I believe that person is honest, unless there is a person who has done terrible things like Kazinda.
Okay, Andrew,
which cannot be covered up, which are in the public eye.
Okay, Andrew, good enough. Let's take it from, I think, the basics. The basic one: did Nambale or Richard Byarugaba do the things the IGG is accusing him of? Accusing them of.
What is he accusing them of? He said
they might be tiny, like issues of 8 million, 1.5 of calling spouses.
Yes. One of them, Nambale, called his wife, and I think spent 1.5 million shillings calling his wife. It's a wrong thing. Should that destroy NSSF?
No, it shouldn't.
Or change management? Two, they bought land at 650 million and they sold it at 650 million. In fact, if you listen to them, the previous administration had bought land and they discovered that the land was in between somebody else's land, so they had no road access to it. So in any case, if you have bought such a mistake, so for them they decided to dispose of it because they could never develop it. It's good they got the money they put in, otherwise they could even have lost money because they had the previous administration had made a mistake. And in any case, everyone who invests, let me tell you about investment. If you're a venture capitalist will tell you, and I have dealt with the richest venture capitalists in the whole world, in the Silicon Valley, out of 13 investments you make, you are likely to get one right. NSF, they're saying out of 10 investments it makes 10 must be right. How can you invest? An investment is a form of speculation. You are projecting your rate of return against a future that you cannot determine. So you cannot ask that NSSF should always make the right investment. It is impossible unless you invest in treasury bills where you are guaranteed a specific rate of return. If you invest in any company in the world, the stock can go up or it go down. If you invest in real estate, the price can go up or it can go down. So you cannot say that somebody should be penalized for making an investment where they don't make money. But let me come to the fundamental point. The fundamental point is this, that for NSSF to be able to, you asked the right question, what did Byarugaba do? Byarugaba largely invested in treasury bills and fixed deposit accounts. The only significant investment he ever made when he was there was to buy Umeme shares. And I will not tell you the details of how those shares came about.
Why not?
It's unnecessary. And he's accused there of committing an illegality because
he invested wrongly.
Because he had only 2 hours to rush quickly and buy the shares from a very important, and he had to do it. But why? Because in fact they had blocked it from happening.
Who are these they? They had blocked it.
The system here. Anyway, let me go into this because you see,
go to the fundamental
yes,
question.
I don't want. I am privy to information that here I will be revealing a lot of.
As a journalist, we have information that is a lot always, but sieve through it and give us the most pertinent.
I dealt with so many people involved up to the highest level. I cannot reveal this information, but let me tell you this: that in fact, if you are appointed NSF managing director and you buy land, invest in stock, or do anything that is a significant investment in an asset in a portfolio that will give you a rate of return over a long period of time, you will lose your job. That is what we have reduced NSSF to. So if you become NSSF MD, please put money in treasury bills and fixed deposit account in banks. And that is the worst thing you can do. One, to us people who are saving with NSSF, because those are steady but very low yielding returns. They are short term and very low yielding. But two, even as a country, because Uganda is a poor country because we have very low savings. That's why we get foreign aid to invest. But now we have low savings. We need long-term savings to finance long-term transformative investments. Only one institution in Uganda has that money.
We are running out of time,
okay.
So wind up and you tell us what is the way forward. This is just a beginning, since it has...
I am now convinced that to save NSSF and other institutions of Uganda, many Ugandans may not agree with me. 20 years from now, they will say, I said the right thing. We need to disband the institution of the IGG. It is too anachronistic for our country, yes. It's a very dangerous institution. But you see why? To have an IGG function, you need a leader there who has a strategic mind, who will, there's something called the balance of convenience, who will say what is good for the country, broadly. Odongo Thome have made, I'm sure Sudhir, who owns Grand Bank, finds Kalan, the MD, has made some mistakes, but Kalan is returning very good profit every year. So if he made a mistake to call his wife, it is something you can discuss with him at a personal level without undermining, changing a managing director every evening. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So the overall is, were these people making a good return for NSSF? And how do we ensure that the institution is respected and high quality people are attracted to work in it?
Well, that is Andrew Mwenda, old man of the clan as he calls himself. My name is Charles Odongtho, and that was Newsnight.